Hi, everyone. I'm Ronnie.
And I'm Jessica.
And you're listening to Clean With Me,
the podcast where we walk you through cleaning your house.
Thanks for joining me. In today's episode, I'm going to talk you through cleaning your kitchen, and we're also going to do a whole house pickup in the process. So let's get right into the episode. It's time to gear up for your cleaning session. This might be a morning routine or an evening routine or even just a middle of the day routine, depending on whether you're home during the day. So you will want to feel presentable, and of course you'll want your house smelling nicely. So maybe you need to run a brush through your hair, wipe off some old makeup from underneath your eyes, or maybe you want to do even more and get completely fixed up for the day. Everybody's different, but I like to wear something comfortable yet presentable to clean in. If I'm planning to go somewhere, I might get completely dressed. We're not going to be working with any bleach products. I mainly do that in the bathroom. So unless I'm cleaning a bathroom, I can be dressed pretty cute for cleaning. Just whatever makes you feel good and ready for anything that can really improve your mindset. As far as getting the house smelling good, maybe you want to put some fresh wax in your wax warmer, light a candle, run the garbage disposal. And of course, it's always a good idea to take out the trash and reline it before cleaning your kitchen, especially if you tend to put garbage in the trash, as in like old food, or you just have a large family and your wastebasket gets filled up quickly. Whatever your situation, I want you to gear up for your cleaning session. Another thing you might want to do is a laundry switch. That's not what this episode is about, but it's always a good time to make sure that you don't have anything rotting in the washing machine. And you may be planning to do more housework today. You might want to strip your bedding and put it in the wash, or you might want to wash a load of towels. I was super excited yesterday or the day before. I guess it was the day before yesterday. I was looking for some towels to do a towel load, and I was like, where are all the towels? Well, we have a large capacity washer and dryer now. Come to find out, there were several towels in the dryer. My teenage son just took the initiative to wash a load of towels, even though as far as laundry goes, his job is just to wash his own clothes. So that was nice. I definitely praised him for it, reinforced that behavior. We're going to give you about one more minute. I'm going to give you about one more minute of prep time before we get started on cleaning the kitchen. I do want to give a little plug here to the bonus content. If you're new to the show, I remind you of this in every episode, but we also have additional bonus episodes for paid financial supporters. It's surprisingly affordable, and there are several ways to do it. Visit cleanwithmepodcast.com to get the links for that. We don't expect anyone to support the show financially, but we know that you will benefit from those bonus episodes, and we greatly appreciate it when someone signs up in one of those three ways. We love it, but most of all, just keep listening to our show. Even if it's just the free content, that helps us as well. Okay, by now you're geared up for your cleaning session. Gather up any dishes from around the house. Okay, perhaps you have a cup sitting on an end table or coffee table, or a plate or a bowl, or maybe someone forgot to clear their plate from the dinner table, or maybe if you're like us, you tend to have a cup or mug on your nightstand or your desk, or even the ledge around your bathtub. If you have a bathtub with that kind of space, sometimes you might enjoy your coffee or whatever else in the bathtub and forget to clear that cup. So let's quickly gather things from around the house. If you don't have a lot of dishes to do and you have a dishwasher, you could even grab something like your toothbrush holder and run that through the dishwasher. That's one of my little tips for keeping my bathroom toothbrush holders sparkling, is that I run them through the dishwasher. If you have small children, you may need to check under a couch for a sippy cup or forgotten bottle. So those are just some ideas. Let's get everything quickly to the kitchen. It won't take long. This isn't the time to pick up the whole house. We're going to do that in just a little bit. Now, once you've gathered up all of your dishes from around the house, and maybe you didn't have any, it's time to prepare to do dishes. I like to clear off my kitchen island first because it's something that can be seen from my front door, and it just kind of gives me a quick win. That's where people are unpackaging things and sometimes forgetting to throw away the packaging. That's where sometimes we have a cutting board and a knife or some seasonings from not cleaning as we were cooking. And I like to just get that cleared off right away. If there are any dishes there, I move them over to the sink area. The reason I say sink area, I do not like to put glasses in the sink. That's how they get broken. So I'll set them just on the side of the sink, and then other things will go in the sink, like plates or bowls. I did restock on paper plates, thankfully, so I'm not going to be washing plates for a while. I've mentioned this before, but I will often serve my husband dinner on a real plate because it's just one plate, and everybody else will use paper plates. And you're wondering, how do I get people to use paper plates? Bury your other plates with the paper plates. I put the paper plates on top. That way, when someone opens the plate cupboard, it's just a no-brainer that they're going to grab a paper plate. They'd have to make a conscious effort to pull out a glass plate from under the pile. So that's something I do. And if you're doing disposable bowls, disposable cups, you can kind of do the same thing. Put the disposables in the forefront so that it's the obvious choice. And of course, let people know that that's what they are supposed to do. Right now, we're just using paper plates. We're not using disposable silverware cups or bowls because it's the plates that make the biggest impact in freeing up that bottom rack of my dishwasher. I've talked about that a lot. I won't belabor the point. So if you're like me, you might want to clear your island, your countertops, and then get to the business of doing dishes. First thing you're going to want to do is put away any clean dishes that are dry, okay, from your last cleaning session. If you had things sitting out on a drying rack or drying pad, or if you have clean dishes in your dishwasher. You may be tempted to skip the step of emptying a drying rack just because you could stack more on top, but I caution against it because it's going to make your kitchen look visually cluttered. And even if nobody's coming over, it can affect your behavior and the behavior of others in the house. If the environment looks clean, everyone's more likely to try to keep it that way. You've got to consider the psychology aspect of that. So put away all your clean dishes quickly, and then, of course, get started on your dishes, whatever that means for you. I'm not going to be super specific in this episode. I've talked in a lot of episodes about kind of my order of operations when I'm loading the dishwasher, when I'm hand washing, how I like to get things soaking, all the things. I just want you to be working on dishes because I have some other things to talk about today that I think will help you in keeping your kitchen clean. So just be working on dishes. And of course, when you're done, move on to the surfaces, working from the top down, and then, ending with sweeping the floor or vacuuming the floor, and maybe even mopping if you have time. It just all depends. If you're new to the show, I encourage you on a day that you're facing a disaster to just get all your dishes done during the episodes and give your countertops and stovetop a swipe. But if you don't have a ton of dishes and you've been keeping up, that's kind of a sweet spot where you get to go deeper in your cleaning. And if you think you never get to that point, you're in a constant state of being behind on your dishes, just keep listening to the show, because in most of our regular episodes, we do dishes. And if you're doing dishes every day, I promise the food won't be dried on as much, and there won't be as many dishes, and it will get faster and faster, and you'll be able to keep the clean kitchen that you deserve to have. So just be working on your kitchen while I talk about this. One thing I think is just such a game changer is cleaning while you wait. If you're making a meal that takes about 30 minutes, resist the urge to get it started, set a timer, and then leave the room. Okay? I realize that you're not always stirring a gravy and that you might be popping something in the oven that doesn't need much supervision, or you might be waiting for water to boil or pasta to cook, and you have a timer on your phone, and then you can just go walk away and do other things. I discourage that because you're already up, you're already in the kitchen, and there are things that you can do in there. Yes, you cleaned before you started cooking, but there are little things that you can do, little deep cleaning tasks, while things are cooking, okay? And also just cleaning your prep materials. Let's say that you used a cutting board and a knife to prep your ingredients, and now they're in the oven. Wash the cutting board, wash the knife, and then look around for a deep cleaning chore. You know, when you're waiting for a pot to boil, that could be a time to put away clean dishes from your drying rack or unload the dishwasher. Then in a cleaning session like this, you don't always have to put away dishes before you start doing dishes, and that puts you ahead of the game, and you're going to go deeper in your cleaning. Again, you can do deep cleaning tasks also while things are cooking. I promise your husband is not going to miss you that much if you don't go visit him during the 30 minutes while something's in the oven. You know, resist the urge to go sit on the couch with him or whatever during that time. Get it all done, and then enjoy yourself for the rest of the evening. When you finish dinner and you've been cleaning as you went and there's hardly anything to do afterward, that's going to give you more time with your spouse in the long run. So just a thought there, because I know sometimes I'm tempted to set a timer and just walk away, whether it's to spend time with my family or to get something else done. And supervising your food will make you a better cook, because let's face it, sometimes it's not something in the oven. Sometimes you're browning something on one side, you walk away, you come back, and it's black on one side, and you're like, well, that'll be okay. Well, it would have been better if you were standing there and you smelled it starting to get done and you turned it over at the perfect time. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about when you're cooking meat in a skillet or something like that. You don't want to overcook things or forget about your bread or whatever. So not only will it give you more time later in the evening if you're staying in the kitchen, standing there for the entire 30 minutes being productive, but it can also help you avoid overcooking. Another tip that I want to give you is cleaning spills immediately. And this may seem like a no-brainer. Some people instinctively do this. They dribble something on the stovetop, they wipe it off immediately, or the countertop. But some of us tend to have this mentality that we're going to clean it up afterward. It dries on and it takes longer to clean. The secret to not scrubbing much in your kitchen is just constantly cleaning as you go and not letting things dry on as much as is possible, of course. I mean, obviously, sometimes you're going to leave a serving dish sitting out because you have people eating at different times. That's definitely the case in our house. You know, we'll put foil over something to kind of keep it warm, and it'll sit out for a while because people are still, you know, showing up to eat at different times. But at some point, you want to put things away. You want to clean up. Don't use the excuse of leaving things out for other people as a way to let stuff dry on. Something that I do, I will be like, has everybody eaten yet? Because I'm ready to put the food away. and then that will stimulate them to come in and fix the plate if they haven't already done so. No, we're not always seated around the table doing a proper family meal. We do have those times, but sometimes everybody's kind of on a different schedule, and that's what I'm talking about here. So be working on your dishes, and of course, once you're done with that, your kitchen surfaces while I talk. Another thing I wanted to talk about is my upcoming bonus episode. In the next bonus episode that will be coming out tomorrow, I'm going to tell you what to do if your husband doesn't appreciate your efforts. So this is going to be a practical episode for a certain situation that doesn't necessarily apply to everyone, but I think everyone will get something out of it, even if you're not in the exact situation. I think some of the concepts I'm going to go over in that bonus episode will help you. Because I realize some husbands don't really care if your house is clean, like they're kind of messy, they're laid back. You're the one who's worried about like the standard of cleanliness and keeping your house decluttered and keeping up on all the things, like you're the one. I realize it's like that in a lot of relationships. However, I've gotten a lot of messages from listeners where they're talking about their husband being dissatisfied with their housekeeping. And it can be really frustrating when maybe you've stepped up your game in your housekeeping and you feel like your husband is kind of nitpicking or looking around to see that one thing you forgot to do, calling you out on that. There is a certain type of husband who is picky, or maybe he's just being picky right now. I'm going to talk about the underlying reasons for why he's not noticing your efforts. In the bonus episode for subscribers and supporters, I'm going to give you a 3-pronged approach for solving the problem of a dissatisfied husband in the area of housework. Okay, so definitely subscribe if your husband is not the super laid back type and he has certain expectations and you're struggling to make him happy in this area. Okay, so at this point, you've probably washed your easy dishes. If you have something that needs to soak, get that soaking, because I am going to have you walk away for a few minutes. Usually we stay in the kitchen for the entire session, but I definitely like to break up the monotony of cleaning by sometimes mixing up my routine a little bit. So by now you've probably done the bulk of the dishes. No judgment here if you want to just keep doing dishes for the entire episode because you're facing just a pile up. I get that, okay? But if you've done the easy stuff and you just need to get a couple things soaking, I give you permission to leave those soaking and get out of the kitchen for a while. Change of scenery. Let's get away from those dishes and let's make an impact by going through the entire house picking up. You may need to be holding a trash bag for this process. However, I would just not hold anything. I would grab, if there's trash around, I'd grab a few items of trash, take them to the kitchen wastebasket, and then next grab a different category of items. I just want you to go fly to the bumblebee, as Jessica calls it, rushing around your house, picking up clutter, putting it where it goes, whether that's putting things in a wastebasket, putting things in a hamper, putting someone's shoes in their closet, just picking things up. And if you keep your living areas perpetually clean or you straightened them recently, you could concentrate all of your efforts in your worst room, whether it's like your master bathroom floor, your bedroom, or like your spare room, your craft room, whatever extra room you have that gets cluttered, or maybe a kid's playroom. But maybe you just need to go through your entire house at once, kind of picking things up by category. Some people like to grab a laundry basket, put everything in the basket, and then redistribute the items around the house. That's one way of doing it. However, you're going to get more exercise if you're just haphazardly grabbing things, rushing around, and maybe you're making multiple trips to the wastebasket or the same room or whatever. It may seem counterproductive, but I like to look at my cleaning sessions as a way to move. Something that I was kind of lamenting when I was doing a 40-hour sedentary job recently. It was remote, but I was still sitting around most of the day. I was lamenting the fact that going on like a 30-minute walk or even working out for 30 minutes on like an exercise machine or something like that does not replace the health benefits of moving a lot throughout the day. So one of the ways you're going to increase just your moving, okay, this is not talking about your official workouts or exercise sessions or the walks you go on or the steps you're getting when you're at Walmart on the weekend or something. This is moving throughout the day. You're going to want to just rush through your house, picking things up and putting them away. I'm all for making things easier in the kitchen as far as doing things to avoid scrubbing because it's just undesirable. But should we really avoid steps? No. When it comes to tasks that get us walking around, let's not make it super easy. Maybe don't put everything in a basket to streamline the process of picking up and putting away, because maybe just bending and picking things up and putting them away, repeating that process is valuable exercise. And you're going to get in more steps that way. And it's those little spurts of housework that are causing you to be less sedentary overall. Okay, it's just the walk isn't enough, folks, and you might not even be going for a walk. Here's the thing. Some of you might have a toddler and a baby who are really close in age. That's sort of my situation as a grandparent during the hours that I'm babysitting, and it's not that easy to necessarily take them for a walk. I mean, I do have a double stroller, but they're just not always in sync. One's happy, one's not, one's hungry, one's not, one's tired, one's not. You get the idea. Sometimes it's easier just not to leave the house, and maybe you don't have a treadmill, or whatever, if you're like me and you do most of your exercise outside, and you just don't have the time to do this official workout. These little spurts of doing things throughout the day are still beneficial. My point is, these little spurts of picking up and decluttering are beneficial, whether that's the only exercise you're getting or it's on top of official, like 3 times a week workouts or daily workouts. So I hope that made sense. Just be picking up your house for a couple more minutes. And then, of course, you'll head back to the kitchen, scrub out whatever you left to soak, unless it's just a burnt-on nightmare that you need to drop a dishwasher pod in and set a timer for like an hour. I just caution against letting things soak and carry over to the next day. It's disheartening to get up to that. Most items that you need to soak, if you're using effective soaking techniques, like, heating it up on the stove with salt or salt water, or dropping a dishwasher pod in, or using cold water for starches like rice that's stuck on or whatever. If you soak things effectively, you can probably finish washing them pretty easily an hour after they begin to soak. That's where setting a timer on your phone can come in. Let's finish those kitchen surfaces and deal with the floor if you so desire. Some of you like to vacuum after the episode is over or sweep after the episode's over. Some of you might have already wiped down your countertops because you didn't have a lot of dishes. But for those of you who just did the dishes, had something soaking, and then did that whole house pickup, it's time to give those surfaces a swipe and clean the floor if needed. And cleaning your kitchen floor isn't all or nothing. Sometimes if you're like me, you look at this large expanse of kitchen floor and you're just like, I don't have the time to sweep this entire floor today. What about sweeping around the area where the mess is? Like if nobody's eaten at your table in your kitchen nook or your eating kitchen, maybe the crumbs that need to be swept up are around your kitchen island and your stove area. Don't just do nothing because you feel overwhelmed and you're not going to just complete the task. At least do something. And vacuuming the kitchen can definitely be a solution if you don't like to sweep. Another thing is delegating it to someone who does. I just redid my kids' chore lists. If you have school-age kids, you may have chore lists for them, and I tend to redo the spreadsheet when school gets out, when school starts up, even when the semester changes, just due to different scheduling things. I feel like this time the chore list that I made is kind of a be-all, end-all, and it'll work during the school year as well. But we'll see if I change it up or not. But one of the things I did was I asked some would you rather questions to my kids, and one of them would rather pick up and sweep the floor than do dishes. That was great news to me because I didn't know that about her. And I absolutely hate sweeping the floor. Okay. I just do. Okay. So if I was cleaning the kitchen, I'm still going to sweep up an obvious mess, but I'm going to let her do that full sweep that's like under and around the table that we don't use very often and everything else. And I know we should do the sit down meals more, but it is what it is. Life's hard, folks. And we don't always do the perfect thing. I realize that not everyone listening is cleaning the house to please their significant other, and then it's not working, but some of you are in that situation. So I encourage you to become a financial supporter. Go to cleanwithmepodcast.com to learn about the 3 options for gaining access to those bonus episodes, because I feel like you're really going to benefit from what I have to say in tomorrow's bonus episode. I hope you got your kitchen clean during this episode and your house picked up, or maybe just a dungeon in the back picked up. I feel like everyone has that dungeon, that neglected area, whether it's like your spare room, your bedroom, your bathroom, where you're letting clutter pile up. I know I've talked a lot about bonus content, but just listening to these free episodes helps us. So thank you so much for listening. We appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, happy cleaning.